Hey friends, and welcome back to the Call It Collective. I'm Jennifer Eddings, the heart behind the entire movement. The Call It Collective is designed to be a place that is safe for healthcare workers and honestly just all of humanity to come and tell the real, the raw, and the honest. Today, I'm super excited to have Janna with me. Janna is a CVICU nurse. She went into nursing immediately out of high school, which is horribly commendable. I definitely didn't have the maturity at that point in my life to do that. And she worked herself all the way from med surg to critical care. Janna's also had a couple of things that happened within her own life that have caused a lot of setbacks and I'm sure a tremendous amount of pain. And what I think is more beautiful than anything is that she has turned all of that pain into her own purpose, which is to help other healthcare professionals, other nurses, really try to find their light when they feel like it's starting to dim. So I really don't need to introduce you because you are a wealth of experience and knowledge and success all on your own.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
You're so welcome. And I'm so thankful that you're here.
It's an honor.
I appreciate that. I would love for you just to kind of start by telling our audience, I make the same joke every time because I think I'm really funny, all two of them that are going to watch. Just tell them about you and how you got to Florida and how your whole nursing even started.
Yeah, absolutely. So my name is Janna Holterman. As she already said, I'm CVICU nurse. I absolutely love that aspect of it, but it is only one part of my life. Another aspect of my life and what I do is really help mentor nurses and kind of help them shine their inner light. So my nursing journey, I feel like kind of started non-traditionally. I know there's so many people out there who say that nursing is a calling and, you know, they knew from that first moment that they were in kindergarten being like, what do you want to be when you grow up? I'm going to be a nurse. That wasn't me. So I definitely grew up with a lot of healthcare professionals in my family and in through high school. My aunt was a doctor and I used to like work in her office scanning documents and things like that. So there was a lot of healthcare exposure that I had from a young age, but I thought I was going to, you know, be a vet or something like that. So when it came, you know, to the end of high school and applying for college programs, I applied to 5 programs. 4 of them were all like biochemistry, biology background. And then my mom convinced me, she's like, you need to, you know, apply to nursing school, broaden the options. So I applied to one nursing school. And very much that was like to appease her. But when it came time to, you know, I thankfully got into all of those schools. And then we went and toured them all to see like which one I was going to choose. And that school that I chose for nursing, I like walked onto that campus and just like that feeling of like, yep, this is where I'm meant to be. Like that home feeling was so strong that I ended up going to nursing school. And retrospectively, it was definitely that path that I was meant to follow, but it wasn't, you know, it wasn't a calling prior to that. And it wasn't something that I expected.
I'm only going to pause you for a second because it is rare that I find anyone that, well, I will say that probably admits that they didn't truly have a why. Because I think there's probably more of us than not that didn't have a life-altering moment when we were younger or, you know, some sort of homage to a family member that wanted us to go into nursing as well or 14 ancestors that did it. I didn't have a why.
Yeah.
And you're asked that repeatedly because it is important, I guess, to remind you as to why you do what you do. But it was asked so much, I almost felt guilty. I almost felt embarrassed and ashamed that I didn't have a story like the other people did. And I only wanted to stop you because I think it is so important. There are so many of us that are in nursing. All of us are here all of us are here because we're supposed to be. And I do, I don't know if I believe that, but most of us are here because we're supposed to be. And not all of us have the same path. Yeah. And I even have goosebumps. I am so thankful that you openly admit, this is not something I wanted to do since I was 10. This is something that I found it and it spoke to me and I went with it. And I just appreciate that. Now I am blessed and then people ask me my why. And at this point I just say I don't have a why. I have a why not because I don't think I could ever do anything different. But anyway, I'll let you continue. I don't hear that often. So
I think it's so important. And even people who do say that nursing is a calling, then it could be almost like used of like, well, if it's a calling, then you should like accept with like what you're handed. And I have like, you know, there's so much for us and we are so knowledgeable as nurses. Like we can make the world a better place, but we can really make our units a better place. And there's so much growth. And I feel like just like, you know, that's also just a piece of that. So either way, it's okay. It could be a calling. It could not be a calling, but like we found ourselves in nursing for a reason and it can be a beautiful reason if you make it.
I agree.
So I finished my bachelor's of nursing, and my last 2 years I had basically worked as a nurse tech in a float pool. So I was floating to different units where fill in wherever they needed. And so the logical option was just to transition into being an RN in the float pool. And that was kind of what I had done, because I was like, I'm already working for them, I might as well. Yeah. So I had done that, and so I was floating like med surge all over the place. The hospital system that I worked at was in a big city, and they would actually like float you to multiple hospitals in that hospital system.
Nice. Okay.
So I kind of was driving all over town, going to all these different units. And for the most part, I think it was good because you didn't see the same thing over and over. But then you go to these units and they're sick and tired of those heavy and complex patients. And they're like, oh, we'll give it to the float nurse, all these things. So it was like day after day of getting those complex or like quote unquote difficult patients, and it gets to the point where it's like draining, exhausting, and you don't have that like core team that you can always rely on. You're going to different places being like, where's this, where is that, how do I find this, how do I get that? Like it was just like that constant like, you know, never kind of getting into the ease of things because you're just moving all over the place.
And that first year is so hard anyway. As you're talking, I'm like, what was she thinking? Not like in a bad way, but I would have drowned. I'm positive I would have.
Yeah. I mean, I don't even know retrospectively I somehow made it work.
Yeah.
But like it is kind of crazy. I had really liked critical care in school, and like because in my program we had a critical care program and a course, and then my like last semester I had my rotation in a CVICU. So I really did like the critical care. So that was kind of like, you know, I think this is going to be good. And the thing with being in a float pool is you go to all these different floors, and all the nurses on those floors are like, is it better over there? What's the manager like over here? Is it better over there? And I had that perspective of being like, it actually isn't, like, because everyone thinks the grass is greener over here, and a lot of the times it's like, well, the grass is greener where you water it.
Yeah.
So it's not, you know, maybe this manager is a little better than this manager at communication, but like the patients are more complex or whatnot. There's a give and a take and a pro and con for every single unit. And there wasn't just a straight like, oh yeah, it's like easy breezy to work here. And so I kept getting that question, and I was like, okay, well, like it's interesting that all these people think it's going to be better somewhere else.
Yeah.
And this was kind of like playing in the back of my head as I was feeling kind of drained and exhausted, recognizing that maybe the grass isn't really green, but if I go to critical care, it could be better. Mm-hmm. So I started like literally harassing my manager, being like, put me in the critical care flow, put me in critical care flow. And I think it took like 3 months, and then she finally did put me in the course. And that was like, it was like a 6-week training, classroom, and then you go and do your orientation. And so thankfully, because I was in float pool, I feel like that was a fairly quick. So that was about like a year into nursing. I had transitioned into the critical care float. And I definitely liked the critical care side of things, like the more like critical thinking, like the complexity problem solving I liked. And then I had taken, like a person had taken a leave of absence, so I had filled their position in the CVICU. Okay. So I was in CV for like, I think 6 months. Like it was an extended period of time.
And you're still up north?
Still in Canada,
okay.
Yeah. And that was like, oh, I really like this. So I started applying, and you know, I'd already been working there, so they knew me, and I ended up going into CV straight full time. And that was kind of where, you know, it was the honeymoon phase wore off, and then I was back to like, oh, well, maybe it isn't better. You know what I mean? Like you always have this like, I'll be happy when I reach this milestone.
Yes.
And so I had accomplished those things, and I was like, okay, I'm going to get all the certifications and training because that's going to make me happy, you know, get my CCRN and do all these things. So I checked all of the boxes trying to find that, like, you know, I'll be satisfied and feel like I'm making a difference moment.
Yeah. And then what?
And then I realized that wasn't making me happy after I had all those trainings and certifications. And so that was kind of what led me down this rabbit hole of like, okay, it's got to be something external to work that makes me, because there's, you know, you'd work with some nurses, they're the happiest people on the planet. It doesn't matter what assignment they have, they're the best people, you want to be around them. And then there's nurses who could have the easiest assignment and they're absolutely miserable. And I was like, okay, the job isn't the problem. I saw that with the float pool. Like, how do we have the exact same circumstances and these two people like that I work with have such different experiences? Like it's us. That was kind of the conclusion that I
love that. It was absolutely. And just, you know, a second ago I said, and then what? And now, because my brain overthinks, it wasn't me rushing you. It was more like, because in my head, like I would check the box, like, okay, I'm going to go on CCRN. And I get it. I'm like, Okay.
Well, no.
Well, now because I don't know what I'm doing now. So anyway, I just want to make sure you knew that. Okay.
Yeah, no,
Sorry,
it's
go
all
ahead.
good.
Sorry, I'm an overthinker.
You're totally overthinking that. It's all good. I understand. I'm an
You're
overthinker too.
I love that you said that. You're right. I am. Okay, sorry.
I'm an overthinker too.
Okay,
So
good.
don't worry.
Okay, good.
But so it was just kind of that like natural realization, and I feel like I've been an introspective person my whole life of just like, I wonder why. Like, why is it like that? Why did that happen? And I had actually taken a bunch of like psych course in brain and behavior in college because those are like all my electives were psychology because I had already had that kind of like I'm interested in this, but hadn't really gone beyond that. And so I started kind of going down these rabbit holes of like listening to people's podcasts and things. And this concept of like life coaching kept coming up. And at that time I was like, I don't even know what a life coach is. Like,
right. Yeah.
I don't know. But it kept coming up and I'm like, okay, well maybe this is a thing. Like it's a sign. Like I keep seeing all these podcasts and books, life coaches, life coaches, life coaches. So I had actually like Googled life coach. And then there was one that was like close to me, lived, like a neighborhood away. So I called this lady up. Like, I don't even know. I don't like calling people. So like the fact that I called this woman was like pretty extreme for me. Like I called this lady up. Literally her name was Linda. So like, listen, Linda.
Oh, that's fantastic. That is fantastic.
And I'm like, I don't know. Like I feel like I need something. And she was like, oh yeah. Like we literally talked for like an hour and I started working with her. And I think that was just like opening this door to my own potential of like how much capacity I had to control my own life.
Yeah.
And I think that like really never sunk in before. Like it was just, go through life and you get a B. Why wasn't it an A? Like it was just the going through the motions of I'll be happy when, and then, you start in this career that you're like, okay, I'm at the point that I was like 21 when I was an RN. I could do this for like 40 years. That's terrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do I do?
Yeah.
And so she really just helped me like start that process. Like I feel like I thought I knew who I was at that point, but I had no idea. But she started that process of like awakening that like questions of like, all right, like who am I underneath like who the world told me to be, and start figuring that out.
You have my brain just like firing off on all cylinders. I'm not even totally sure like if it's probably even showing in my face, only because you excite me so much. I love that you're literally like, sometimes I am the problem. Absolutely. And in my life,
I'm also the solution, but I'm majorly the problem.
I will figure out my solution. I will never come to you or myself with like to identify the problem if I haven't already kind of figured out, or at least I know at least what way to go. I can at least take the first 2 steps and figure it out from there. Accountability, self-awareness. I am so big on it now. And that's why you excite me so much, because we could get into a whole discussion, and I don't know what your faith is or what your beliefs are, and that's fine. But I do believe there are healers that are sent here, and that we are. And I say we because I absolutely proudly identify as one as well. We just see things differently. We feel things differently, and then we were given the ability to connect with others to help bring them to that realization, that self-actualization as well. I was much older when
we all have our own path.
I got into that, and people ask me all the time. Nursing was second career, so I was 35. I'm 43 now, but they're like, "Well, don't you wish you'd start nursing sooner?" No.
My life would not be the same.
21-year-old Jennifer would have been fired and probably kicked off the board of nursing at some point, because I just did not have. It wasn't my path.
Yeah.
And you just excite me, like you are, and for anyone that's watching, yes, we work in proximity. I've never had a relationship with you, and I really don't know you other than just a little bit on social media. But I am sitting across from you, and I can tell you, you are everything. And I'm gonna probably get emotional. It's just what I do. Aww. You are literally everything that is right with this world.
Oh my God,
and
thank you.
And you are so much better than I will ever be. And it makes me so excited because you're so young, with all of this enlightenment, and all of this insight and desire to pour out into others to help them. And I can't even imagine the lives you're going to impact.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Anyway.
First off, I am better at being me than you are, but you are better at being you than I am.
I do love that.
So
I agree with that. I agree with that. And I will take your cue of humbleness and I will sit with it. You're correct. I will do that.
We are each, our own person who is so incredibly amazing at being us.
I love that.
The problem is when we try to be somebody else.
It's so much the problem. And like people like, they'll like, someone will say I'm fake. Like, do you think I choose to act like this? Do you see me? I'm a lot. Like I wouldn't choose this in a normal life. Like I just wouldn't. But I certainly have a great time with what I know that I'm given. So
yeah, absolutely. That's what matters.
So are we still in Canada?
Okay, yes.
Okay. All right. No, okay. I'm sorry.
So, well, I guess during this whole time, I had been dating a boy from second year of college all the way through. We had gotten engaged, and then 2020 hit. Ooh. So we were supposed to get married May 30th of 2020. Of course, everything shut down, wedding venue canceled, all these things. Our honeymoon cruise obviously did not happen. Yeah. And so we actually did get married in my parents' backyard. We had a little ceremony, his parents, my parents, just the family kind of thing. And it was a beautiful backyard wedding. We had actually had flowers through Costco and we canceled them, but they still delivered them. Oh, so we had a full venue. Yeah. It was definitely divine intervention.
I love that.
It was beautiful. So that had happened. And then that was kind of where, perfect kind of romance happened and life was I was figuring out myself. I had kind of gone down this life coaching rabbit hole, was kind of figuring that out for myself. COVID hit, and I feel the beginning of COVID, which was so unknown as a nurse especially, I feel I was able to do what I needed to do, to handle the chaos and everything that was happening with the tools that I'd had. But I got married, and then we went to Niagara Falls for our honeymoon because that was what we could do at that time. That was what was available.
That's fair. Yeah.
And so it was beautiful. There was barely anybody there. It was never going to see Niagara Falls. Never going to see it like that again. It was just
Amen. That's right. Yeah. That's right.
So I think on our honeymoon, he had gotten COVID. Mm-hmm. And so I had tested positive, so I couldn't go back to work, but I never really got symptomatic. He got so incredibly sick. Didn't need to be hospitalized. His oxygenation was fine, but just exhaustion, sleeping 16-hour day, all the GI upsets. And he was having a lot of neurological symptoms. He would get these almost migraines and a lot of shooting nerve pain and things like that. And he had taken honestly months to fully recover, and he never truly recovered. He was still having the nerve symptoms and the neurological things. He went and had CTs, MRIs. Nobody could figure out anything that was specifically wrong, but his mental health just plummeted. He had severe anxiety, paranoia, and it went to the point where he could, I guess, go back to work. He was finishing his master's degree. So he finished his master's degree, and he had wanted to do his PhD. So that was kind of actually how we ended up coming to Florida.
Okay.
So I had wanted to come to Florida. I have family here. I grew up going back and forth. I'm I want to be a Florida girl. I identify as a Florida girl.
Yeah.
So I was you got to apply to schools in Florida. So he ended up getting in at USF and starting his PhD at USF.
Nice.
So that was 2021 that he had started that. So we moved down early in 2021, and he started school in August. And things had I feel that was that new we moved to a new location. There was this honeymoon phase of a new location kind of thing.
Yeah.
It seemed he was feeling better. His mood was better. We were going and doing all the things in the area. It was just everything was new. So it was new and exciting. And then basically Christmas of 2021, he didn't go home. So I have my U.S. citizenship and he hadn't. So we were in the process of for him to become an American. So you can't leave the country while your green card is being processed.
Okay.
So he couldn't leave to go to
Canada.
Yeah.
Okay.
So for 2021, we had spent Christmas with my family here in Florida. And he couldn't leave. And that was kind of very upsetting for him because he couldn't see his family for Christmas.
Sure.
And that was kind of this beginning of this severe depression of just he was really genuinely upset. He couldn't see his family. He went back to his PhD program after the holidays. And then this depression worsened and worsened and worsened. And he stopped sleeping. He was dealing with severe insomnia. So we, went to neurologists and like psychiatrists, and he saw a psychologist. He had therapy. He had life coaching because I was into that world. So I'm like, you need this too.
Yeah.
And so he like literally had every resource that we could
you were
possibly
just trying everything.
Find.
Yeah.
He tried all kinds of different meds. He tried all kinds of different things, really tried everything. At one point he was hospitalized. And like we truly tried everything under the sun. And I was working because he had gotten to the point in his like mental health that he couldn't even continue his PhD program. So he had taken a leave from that. I had family came down. He had family that came down, like people. He had every support system. Like there was people like with him doing things, trying to get him to do things. And then basically the summer of 2022, I was at work and doing my normal shift. I was actually like precepting another nurse to like train them on landing hearts. And I just like, and I knew her well because she had already been working in our unit. And
Hey friends, Jennifer Eddings here, the heart behind the Call It Collective. I created this space for you. I created this space for me. I created this space for all of us. This is a space that is designed for us to come in and speak about the things that are heavy. For anyone that is navigating a difficult situation, for anyone that has found themselves standing in the middle of life just looking for the light. Around here, we talk about the things that aren't easy to talk about. We talk about the things that people typically are quiet about or whisper about. We talk about the things that literally can set someone free once they know that they're not the only one going through it. So this is my ask of you. I want you to be just as much of this movement as I am and the women that have sat in these chairs before you. I would love for you to share your story with me. Write to me, tell me what you're going through. Share a situation that you've been navigating through and you just would love some outside perspective on. Or if you just really need to know that you're not alone. You can email me at comeformeasures24@gmail.com. I would love to hear from you. Whenever you need something or you need someone to be there for you, I beg of you just to hit the call light, and I promise I'll answer. Because at the end of the day, all of us are just walking each other home one conversation at a time.
was like, there's just something off. Like, I don't know what it is. Like, there's just something off. And like, I'm trying to teach her and explain things. And I was just like mentally not present. And I was like, I don't know. I'm sorry. Like, I'm just having a day. Like, I don't know why. And then it got to like 2-3 p.m. in the afternoon. And I was like, there's something wrong. Like, I had this like horrible sense of like dread. And I had no logical explanation. And so I had actually like gotten to the point where it's like, there's got to be something wrong with him. And I'm like texting him and calling him and he's not answering. And I had actually called the neighbor because we both had like dogs and we walked them together. So I was like, can you go knock on the door, see if he answers? And she went and knocked on the door. Nobody answered. The dog barked. No response. So I was like literally like freaking out. Like went up to our charge nurse and I was like, I have to leave. And she's like, what's wrong? And I'm like, I don't know, but I have to leave. Like drop everything, like ran out the door. Like I'm already like bawling because I know something is wrong. And so I got home and he had ended up taking his own life in our house. And being a nurse, like my nurse mode kicked on and it had been hours, but like I started doing CPR on him, like called 911. They had to like come and like pull me off of him because I was like, I can't be the one. Like I know he's gone, but I can't be the one that says it. Like, and so that was the, worst moment of my life, of course. And that was, I feel like, that was 2022. Yeah. I feel like I laugh because I'm like, I don't know what else to, like, emotional reaction.
Because I was like, completely get it. Like, I know why we do what we do. It's not often that I don't have anything I can say.
I don't think there is anything to say with that.
Yeah. And I'm so sorry.
Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate that. I definitely feel like initially there's that level of, what could I have done differently? And I truly felt that I had done everything in my possible capacity. And I think that like at least helped a little bit of like knowing like every option was tried. There was nothing that no stone left unturned kind of situation. And I do think that at least removed the guilt of it. And I have like amazing family and friends that kind of help me. And one of my best friends also does a lot of like life coaching style things. So she's like, you need to get a therapist right now, like
like yesterday.
Right now. And so I was like not in the mental capacity to figure that out. So she had actually like researched and found EMDR therapist. And so that was what I had started doing, because I had done talk therapy prior just to try it, see if it worked. And I never really felt like it was deep enough to actually like get to the root of the issue. I'm like, I know how to go for a walk and meditate. Like, thank you. That's not what I need. Like, I need to heal this, like,
I can pet a dog. I got it.
Yeah.
I got it.
So I need something a little bit more than that. And especially with that. And so that kind of therapy was very transformational and extremely helpful. And it's really designed for people with PTSD. But it basically like helps your brain process the information by like moving it to like the right side, left side. So there's different ways that they do it. So you can do it with like visualized, like watching. There's like a little dot that goes.
New to me. Like I'm
it's
so
cool.
Learning right now.
It's so cool.
If I look blank, that's because I'm intaking information.
All good. So so basically like there's different methods that they could use this kind of therapy. So you can either watch like a dot move, you can do sound. So like sound goes from like right ear to left ear. So it works best if you have headphones on, or you like hold a little device that like vibrates from right to left hand. And the whole process is like to send signals from right side of the body to left side of the body and back and forth. And that actually like as you experience the event, like helps your brain process the emotions and move through it. And actually like allow you to move beyond it. Cause it was like anytime anything, like I would just be like, I would say his name and I would just like, I can't even function.
For sure.
And so going through that really like helped me. And I mean, now it's been 3 years, but like that process really just allowed me to even like function, go back to living a life, but then also like process all that thing, like all the things that had happened and everything. And I'm very grateful for that.
Even like hearing you say it's been 3 years, the concept of time is just so lost to me right now, because it seems like that's just not that long ago.
Yeah.
Like even when you're talking about 2022, I'm like, this poor baby.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't even, but then I'm sure I can't even imagine the amount of lifetimes you've lived.
I really feel like I've like,
yeah.
So yeah, that was my like completely like, you know, the crumble point of like, I don't know anything. And it was interesting, like, cause I feel like I had that life coaching, like, who am I? What do I, and then that point happened. And then I was like, I know nothing.
Yeah.
I know one thing for certain. I know absolutely nothing.
that's the only thing I'm positive about.
Yeah.
You know, I think, and earlier you have said CVICU, and because I do know that you're an ECMO specialist, and I do know the facility that you work at and the acuity level, and it being, a very in-demand facility, and the work is hard.
Yeah.
So, and of course my brain just has so many questions for you, and I'm not going to be able to ask them all. But how do you get back how do you go back? And because what I'm thinking, and I love that you said that you knew you did everything you possibly could have fucking done.
Yeah.
Because the guilt, I can only imagine if you had not been able to come to that resolve, the guilt alone, I can't even imagine what that would have done to you. I'm very thankful that you were able to hear the other people and know that you did everything you could do. But then knowing that you go back and you are literally taking care of the sickest population at one of the major facilities in the Tampa Bay area, and you're pouring yourself day in and day out for these people. And I don't even want to say it, but I'm just going to say it. I don't know that my brain couldn't have like be mad sometimes. Like I'm able to take care, I'm saving you, but I wasn't given that chance to do that here. And I'm sorry if that's uncomfortable.
No, I feel like it is definitely very important. And I feel like that just kind of reminded me of like, I had said that I was kind of burnt out when I had started. Yeah. And then the burnout that I had experienced, like for that 8-9 months where he was depressed and like at home, and I was like the full, like I was making the money, I was taking care of all my patients at work and then coming home and taking care of him. That was true burnout. Like that was like, I'd never experienced burnout in my life, because there's just, you sacrifice your well-being at that point, because you have nothing left to give. You have no capacity mentally, emotionally, physically, because you're literally pouring into somebody and then pouring into somebody. Like, it's just like that ongoing thing. And so his passing had happened, and then I had done the therapy, and that was kind of where I'd redefined who I was again, because I thought I had figured it out and I didn't figure it out. And that was really like, okay, who am I behind all these labels? Like, behind the nurse, behind the wife, behind like all of these things, like, what am I meant for? And I have very gradually over these 3 years, like, figured that answer out, and it's gotten a little more clear and gotten a little more clear. And I do think that there was a level of resentment with the nursing thing, and especially if I had like a young patient or something like that. Like, I've definitely had those patients that were, you know, overdoses or things that like they had attempted to take their own life and been like, I mean, this could have been him.
Yeah.
But then again, there's also those patients that their families can't let go of them, and it's beyond their time. And it's so, like, I don't know if you've ever seen Princess Bride, but like in the moment where he's like, they have like Wesley and he's like dead, but like not quite dead. And they're like mostly dead is still slightly alive. And I feel like that's how I felt a lot of the time with like some of our patients that are like, I think this is crueler.
Absolutely.
Like, I think keeping somebody alive to this point is crueler than letting them go.
1000%. And I think it absolutely adds to the PTSD that nurses even have from being made to harm. It physically feels like we are harming them because family isn't quite able to let go.
Yeah. And so I think that visualization of even just like, this could have been him, but in the condition that he was in, he would have been those patient, and then I would have been the one making the decision to end things. And I feel like he made the choice for himself. As awful and hard to absorb as that is, he made the choice for himself.
That was honestly a pretty beautiful gift for you, and if you really think about it in that perspective. And there are so many, like, I could probably just sit here with you for hours. What thing you have been able to do besides continue to take care of an incredibly sick and needy population is that's how I even began to even know that you existed. You can't have my algorithm for Facebook because we do work in close proximity, but it wasn't anything about work, at least that work. It was about your work and what you do now. And that was before I even thought about doing any of this. And I remember listening to you. So what was that I saw? What were you talking about? What have you created as a result of all the things you've been through?
I really felt like in all of these crumblings and picking the pieces back up of my life, I found so much more. Like, I feel like you don't know how capable you are until you go through the worst. And in finding that, I recognized, like, I am meant to have such a big impact on this world and really help heal and help so many nurses start waking up, start asking questions about, like, okay, who am I before I was told who I needed to be, and really shine their light and create careers where they feel like, yeah, I'm actually making a difference. I see and recognize the impact that I have. And that gets to be like the smallest little thing. That could be like, oh, you know, I spent an extra 5 minutes shampooing this patient's hair because it had blood in it, and that made a difference. Or I held the patient's hand who was literally like passing away because nobody was there. Those moments really make a difference. And we're so conditioned to just on to the next thing, but stopping and realizing that impact is so beautiful. And that when you recognize that, you can live a life so much better because you're like, wow, I made a difference at work. How can I make a difference elsewhere? How can I truly be me and shine my light?
I think you are just a beautiful human. I really do. And when this episode drops, of course, and all of the things, we will absolutely put the links and your handles and things for your websites and the such. But for like right this minute, like who anyone's watching, how do they reach you? What do they Google? How do they get the help that you are so freely willing to give.
Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate that. So pretty much everything is from my name, Janna Holterman, jannaholterman.com, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Janna Holterman. And, you know, the easiest thing, free resource is my podcast. It's empowerment with an RN in the middle.
Very clever. Very clever.
And that's the Radiant Nurse podcast. I also have Radiant Nurse Essentials. That is my membership. So kind of giving you all of these tools that I have learned the hard way. Really that free resource, or not free resource. It's a low cost resource to give you those tools. And then if you want that extra support, I have one-on-one mentorship.
I love that. Now, and of course, I think everyone's going to have a chance to do that. And I will probably sign up at the end of this podcast. But because even though I pride myself on emotional intelligence, and I pride myself on being able to work and navigate through things with other people, when it does come down to yourself, that's really where the roadblocks is right there. I'm like, no, I'm really not worth that effort. Everyone else is, but not me. So anyway, I'll call you. But just for like right now, as we are at the end pretty much of the show, if there is that nurse, which we know there are, that to the nurse that's lost, it's the nurse that is like having a really hard time seeing her next day, what is one just gentle tip you can give, like to have him or her take that first step in trying to better themselves?
Yeah. I truly think it's an overused saying, but it is true, is that you can't pour from an empty cup. And prioritizing yourself allows you to give back. And I think that's, most of us want to help. We want to be helping others, but we do that at the point of sacrificing ourselves. Mm-hmm. And then it's, okay, looking around and what's the quality of the help that you're giving, right? Like if you are completely depleted, like your phone can't make a call if it's at 0%. And now you're trying to save lives at 0%. Like we can't be present for our families and our kids and all these things because of that. And so it really starts with like, what do you actually enjoy doing? And sure, you can go get your nails done or get a makeover or whatever, but what do you enjoy doing? Like pick one hobby, pick one thing that you can say, this is just for me. And I'm going to spend 15 minutes here, 15 minutes there. And what that does is, number one, it trains your brain to say that I prioritize me and other people should prioritize me too. Mm-hmm. But also it starts to give you, 1% at a time, a little bit of charge. And then you can go and do the deeper work of actually, the neuroscience and reprogramming your brain and all that fun stuff to really truly heal all this. Yeah. But it really starts with like proving to your brain how important it is to prioritize you, and then making that time to actually just, little 15 minutes here, 30 minutes there, do something that's for you.
I love that. And I almost feel like inviting you on this podcast may have been one of those things to prioritize myself. I even said to
it's all for a reason.
I know. I said to the producer before you got here, I'm like, to be honest, I don't know her that well. I know her story and I know like what she does, but we've never had like a personal connection thus far. It just hasn't happened.
Yeah.
And I don't remember if I may have even said wild card, to be honest with you, because in a very endearing way. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know how this is going to go. And I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt, this has been the most impactful episode for me.
I appreciate that.
I'm just very thankful for your vulnerability and for your ability to turn your pain into purpose. And that's overused too, I know.
It's all good. But it's overused
true.
For a reason, because it's got truth in it.
There's so much truth to it. I am just so thankful, and I pray that our friendship can continue.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I pray that anyone that needs you and that is meant to find you is going to find you.
Thank you.
And if I can
appreciate
be
that.
a small part of that, then praise God. And I mean that. This has been a very quick 45 minutes. At this point, I know we have to wrap up. I don't have anything like poetic to say at this point. I'm just sitting in a deep seat of gratitude for you and
Thank you
for your experience and for sharing it with me. So until next time, all my love, all my light, this is the calling.
Thank you.
You are so beautiful.
Thank you.
Oh my God.